So here we are. Welcome everybody. So we should be live. Let's see. We'll start with next stream should be on Tuesday, which will be the 24th of June at 10 a.m. UK time, or winter solstice for the people in the southern hemisphere. Hi Patricia. So let's see. So hi there to Julia, hi to Manisco, hi to Patricia, hi to Ronan, hi to Tyfor as well. So it's great to have you all, and we are going to try and do the open close. Welcome Vitali, lovely to see you. So, eldest daughter syndrome to the rebellious youngest child. Does birth order shape your personality? Hi Aurora from Munich, and hi there to Maurits. So Aurora is new here, welcome. Okay, so first question, here we go. Whoops. Bear with me. And there we go. Here, hi VJ. So from Satara in India. So the question of whether birth order shapes their personality has families and psychologists for years. Hi Victor, lovely to have you. So all you need to do is guess the words in the gap. Has bugged families. That certainly works, Vitali. Hi White Stripes, great to see you. Okay. So the question of whether birth order shapes their personality has, whether they're different birth orders has puzzled families and psychologists. That looks pretty good, White Stripes. So, has nonplussed families and psychologists. Nonplussed is a good word, Patricia. Using it as a verb. Offspring birth order. That's not bad either. The word is more or less, I think, already in the question. So, let's go for this one. Okay, the question of whether different birth order has has concerned your siblings' birth order. Yes, Vitali. Well done, you definitely get an ice cream there, Vitali. Has concerned, good word, Typhoid. Single ice cream. So ice cream for White Stripes and an ice cream for Vitali. Siblings' birth order has puzzled families. But the evidence isn't as you think. Isn't as conclusive, good word, as clear as you would think, says White Stripes. Plain or clear, says Aurora. Good words. As clear cut. Yeah, Vitali, definitely. As revelatory as you might from White Stripes and might from Vitali. As you may think, well done Manisco. As clear as you might think from Julia. As definite as you might think from Alex. So, let's go into it. Well done. You know, I'm always on about this word might. Isn't as straightforward as you might think. So, as conspicuous, says Sakane. Welcome, Sakane, and thank you for joining. Very kind of you. As etched in stone, as clear cut. Those are good answers as well. As you might think. You see, as you might, would also fit quite well, but might. You know what I'm like about might? I always want students to use might whenever they can. And let's go on. Would you pronounce nurse's hostel? Nurse's hostel. Nurse's hostel. It's the first one, White Stripes. As the eldest daughter of two, I often, with the stereotypically associated with being the oldest sibling, responsible, conscientious, a perfectionist. Hi Oksana, lovely to see you. I often play with the notion, that's really good. That's very good, Vitali. Play with the notion. I often identify with the characteristics. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, White Stripes. So I often verb with the play with the notion of. So I often I'll let you go with it. Deal with the perception stereotypically associated. Identify with the qualities. Another word meaning qualities. So let's see, White Stripes, you've already got one ice cream, you want the second. Wrestle with the traits. That's the other ice cream for Alex. To identify with, I see myself in these characteristics. With the traits, I'm sure that's the word they've used. Yes, I often identify with the traits stereotypically associated. So definitely ice cream for those of you with identify and those of you with traits. I often struggled with the threat of Manu, buenas, lovely to see you, Manu. I identify because it's I, Julia, with the qualities associated with. So let's go for the next one. My mum, Mertens, great to see you as well. So my mum is an eldest daughter too, and also those traits. Shares, good word, Maurits. Evinces, I love it, White Stripes, because it seems that evinces is the word of the month. Possesses, good word, Vitali. And also shares, it needs to be with an S because it's my mum, singular, therefore shares. Shares from Oksana, shares from Julia. Holds. You see, I would say has. I wouldn't use hold a trait. To hold is to keep. She keeps it in her pocket. I don't think hold quite fits. Possesses for Patricia, yes. Bears. No, bears doesn't quite fit Typhel, but it's a good try. Okay, possesses again. So smash the like, as Julia says. Betrays. I guess betrays or displays. I like displays better. Carries those traits. Yes, I think carry would fit. She carries those traits. Manifests is a good word as well. I was thinking about portrays as well. Portrays. Represents. And also endure. Reveals. Good word. Hi there, don't trust. Lovely to see you. Welcome. And dairy milk shows. No problem being late. Don't trust, you're here now. It's sad that the word betrays to mean reveal has all but gone out of fashion. It works, but it's very old-fashioned, White Stripes. Displays traits, perhaps. So she shares. Shares for ice creams for those of you with shares. Very definitely. And it's a day for ice creams as well, isn't it? So, my younger sister, on the other hand... Hello, Nora. Great to see you, Nora. My younger sister, on the other hand, is a bit more carefree. She and I grew up in the same household with the same parents and are close, and our personalities are quite different. Well done, White Stripes. That looks very good. Abide. Abides. To abide means to live. The same characteristics abide within her, even though for Oksana, the same traits abide in her. Even though, says Maurits, even though for Julia. Even though, well done Manu. It fits very nicely. Okay, so even though she and I, despite. Okay, let's see. Despite of her. Okay, order. Despite of she and I growing up. Despite of she and I growing up. You need. Despite the fact that, or even though, good Patricia, Nora. Well done, Nora. Yes, I have read some Rider Haggard. Or even though, very good. So, despite of she and I growing up, that of needs an ing. In spite of her and I growing, of she and I, of her and I growing up. So, there we go. And I wondered whether that difference could be due to birth order. Despite of her and I growing up. I think I prefer she and I. Despite of she and I growing up. Me too, Manu. Is there any science to the idea that being the oldest, the youngest, or an only child, who we are and how we, the world, of is redundant? I agree. It sounds much better without. Determines who we are and how we see the world. That looks pretty good, White Stripes. How we view the world. Determines, it's going to have an S, Nora. And how we ask the world. Not quite, Manu. Determined, says Patricia. Came doesn't work, don't trust. Determined and interact with the world. You need that with, Maurits, definitely. How we perceive who we are, or how we perceive the world, how we reflect upon the world, how we perceive the world, and how we face the world. That works, Manu. Despite something, but in spite of something. Yeah. How we came to this world. It would be how we came into this world, don't trust. How we perceive this world. I like perceive. They're too lazy to use the M dash. Yes. But being an only child determines. You're right, Maurits, because is there any science to the idea? The idea is the subject. It shapes who we are. Good word, White Stripes. Determines and perceive. Good, Julia. Influences who we are and how we perceive the world. Welcome keyword. Okay, how we view the world. Yes, how we perceive for dairy milk. View for Maurits and perceive. So, here we go. Shapes. Somebody says shapes there. That was White Stripes. Molds who we are and how we navigate the world. Ice cream, definitely White Stripes. How we sail through, how we sail the world, how we sail. Just a present simple, Manu. Okay. Despite this fascinating scientific let me try that again. Despite fascinating the scientific community and public for more than 100 years, the question of whether our birth order amongst other siblings shapes our personality is still up for debate. Up for debate. That's very good, White Stripes, and that's very good, Maurits. Okay, if something is up for debate, up for discussion, that's good, Oksana. Is very much still up for discussion. Good, Manu. Okay, so still very much up for discussion, up for debate, up for argument. Under argument is being argued. I'm not sure I would. Perplexed topic. Yeah, it is. Up for discussion. I quite like that, Julia. So let's give this. Is up for debate. Ice creams directly for White Stripes and for Maurits. Is open to interpretation. A subject in question. A moot point. Okay, so is up for debate. And historically, research has produced inconsistent. Historically, research has produced inconsistent. Jury's still out. Good. Evidence is good, Oksana. Results for Dawit. Hi, Dawit. Lovely to see you. Data for Vitali is a good word. Results for White Stripes. Evidence for Maurits. Vestige. Not quite. Don't trust. Outcomes. Not quite. Evidence, yes. Has produced inconsistent theories. If it was plural, Typhoid definitely. Inconsistent proof. Conclusions is a good word, Alex. Conclusions for keyword. Data for Patricia. Results for Julia. Outcomes, results, conclusions for Nora. Conclusions for Maurits. Evidence, says Patricia. Theory, says don't trust. Conclusions, it needs to be plural. Has produced inconsistent theses. Findings. Ooh, dairy milk. Figures was actually quite close. Inconsistent findings. I think I probably like conclusions best. Explanations is good. Myths. Nearly, Manu. Okay, findings. There are several reasons why this is, though to simply, it's hard to measure. Well done, Maurits. To say it simply. I think I like the put more. Well done, Alex. Well done, Vitali. Well done, keyword. Well done, Julia. Well done, Oksana. Well done, Manu. To say those, to put it bluntly. I like bluntly, Manu. Bluntly and simply. Statistics for the previous one. To state it simply, White Stripe says. Okay, so to put it simply, absolutely, Nora. Although in layman's terms, put it absolutely, Patricia. To lay it out simply, it works, Maurits. So, put it simply. Ice creams for those of you with who went for put it simply. To put it bluntly, to be honest. To be bluntly honest. To put it simply, it's hard to measure. To demonstrate forthrightly. Okay, so let's try it. Whoops. Bear with me a second. And Rodica Damian an associate professor at the University of Houston, explains that previous studies have often included small sample sizes, says Maurice. Sample, says White Stripes. Sample for Alex and keyword and Oksana. Sample sizes for Dawit. Sample sizes for Vitali. Include small sample sizes for Manu. Sample for Julia. Sample for Don't Trust. Okay, it means that they do their experiments on very few people. There's a very low number of people. And that's your sample size. And that, if you've got a very small sample size, it's very difficult to produce meaningful data. So, sample sizes. Yes, I've often included sample sizes. So, ice creams for everybody who answered. And let's go on. In addition, personality tests are often self-reported. They may be affected by. So sample sizes are more often than not representative of the general population. Small taste sizes. Okay, in addition, comma. These personality tests are often self-reported. They may be affected by bias. So bias for the second one, because, says Dawit, and bias. Bias for Maurice, by biases, by opinion, good. Such. Hi Medred. Great to have you, Medred Karimi. Although, Philippe, wonderful to see you. Since, says Maurice, such personality tests, bias, such and biases, says Nora, as, says Oksana, such, says Alex, don't trust, says these and bias, these and biases for Julia, Dawit gets given, goes for given and bias, research personality test. Okay, so there's definitely an ice cream here for Maurice with since. I like such as well, but since. And I think since is better. Since, because. So well done, Maurice, and ice creams for the rest of you with bias. Okay, yeah, since. It may be affected by bias. The 5 since is better. It's the best answer as well. It's interesting because it says such and because as well at the same time. The 5 factor of personality is used to determine general personality structure. Psychologists researching birth order measure siblings on the following traits: 5-factor assessment, test, evaluations. Assessment, says Julia. Tests, says Manu. Test, says Nora. Test, says Vitali. Model, says Dawit. I like model the best, definitely, so far. Let's see, all of these answers work. The 5-factor evaluation, the 5-factor model. I feel he might be looking for a very specific word here. I haven't put the answer here. That's really bad. Okay, the answer was model. Paradigm, that's a brilliant word, Nora. The 5-factor model. On the following traits on their bio. So, extroversion or introversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness or intelligence, neuroticism or emotional stability, openness to experience. So, recent studies pointing out that a number of confounding can make it hard to investigate if birth order is meaning that it affects every person in the same way. Confounding factors, says Maurice. Criteria, says Vitali. Factors, says Oksana. So recent studies point out that a number of confounding make it hard to investigate if birth order is meaning that it affects every person in the same way. Variables is a good word, and deterministic, I like it. Dilemmas, close. Variables, says Dawit. Elements, says Philippe, good word. Quandaries for Manu, yes. Criteria for Julia. Factors for Nora. Confounding behaviours. Behaviours could work, I suppose, Typhoon. If birth order is meaning it affects every person in the same way. Confounding consistent, says Oksana. Consistent looks like the ice cream word for me. Order is determinant. Systematic. Okay, so yeah, definitely consistent was by far the closest. Is determinant, meaning that if it's systematic. So variables, is uniform. Uniform's a good word, Vitali. Monolithic, no, consistent or systematic. Monolithic, because monolithic, I think you could use monolithic in a very figurative way. Ice cream for variables, definitely white stripes. Ice cream for variables. And the total number of siblings may be a factor. For example, one would expect the dynamics to be completely different in a family with 2 siblings to a family with 7 siblings. It's like huge think monolith in Space Odyssey, and that's why I would accept monolith or monolithic as a metaphor. The born dynamics, it would be birth dynamics, Vitali, compared to, for the second one, says Dawit, familiar. It would be family dynamics. Familiar normally means you know something well. Compared to, says Oksana, internal dynamics. Compared to, says Alex. Same dynamics and compared, says White Stripes. Compared to, says Philippe. Behavioural dynamics is very good, Mehedred. Compared to. Sibling dynamics. Compared to. The same. Okay. 2 sibling dynamics as opposed to broad dynamics. This is hard, isn't it, Order? Yeah. Okay. Congenital dynamics. Genetic dynamics. Overall dynamics. Compared to, so ice creams for those of you with compared to, but overall is my ice cream, definitely. Established dynamics. And let's continue. The eldest or youngest child in these different sized families might be a very different experience and not I scream, ye scream, we all scream for ice cream. Being, says Oksana. Whether the eldest or the youngest, you need to add more at the end of, and not comparable. You need more at the end, Julia. Whether this, it needs to be made into a question. Inborn dynamics. Yes, internal dynamics. Being, says Dawit, being, says Maurits. And not remotely comparable. Being and remotely, that's good. Not fully comparable. Not easily comparable. Let's see, whether would fit, but not in the sentence, because whether is true or not, it needs to say something else. Being the eldest, not totally comparable. Good Manisko. Being the eldest, and not definitely comparable. Definitively. Remotely sounds good. That someone said before. It's the best one I've seen. Either or whether. It doesn't fit at the beginning. Being, says Alex, are not entirely comparable. Good. That's a good word, Julia. Are not quite comparable. Being, not entirely, says Manu. Being for the first one, says Philippe. Not entirely, I like a lot. Not wholly comparable. Not quite comparable. Wholly is a good word, Nora. Are not necessarily comparable. Directly comparable. Are not therefore, yes, white stripes. Are not quite. Are not utterly. No, it doesn't work, Medved. And not widely, no. Utterly doesn't work. Not utterly comparable. It sounds a bit off, Medved. It's a nice idea. Not completely comparable is what you're trying to say. And not as comparable. Yes, Yusuf. Welcome, Yusuf. I would say that as would also fit. No, not faintly. Being for the first one, says Yusuf. Being and prominently. Being for the first one, yes. And not therefore comparable. Might be very different. And not therefore comparable. It would probably be and therefore not. But I think I would accept therefore, Alex. Immediately comparable is a good word. Furthermore. It would need a comma after it, Manu. Directly comparable. Did anyone say directly? I'm pretty sure somebody did. I think I probably like entirely most out of the ones we've had. It's probably better than directly comparable. Well done, Dawit. Okay, so. In one meaning, directly is the opposite of remotely. Haha, that's very good. Not directly, not remotely. Yes. So family size and the experience of being a child in any given family may in turn be with many factors, such as a family's status. Wealthier families with higher status tend to have fewer children, for example. May be linked with, says Vitali, good. Social status, that's good, but that's only part of it, Oksana. It's social is one half of the word or one half of the meaning. Confounded with financial. So Maurit says financial. Alex goes linked with. Social, says Vitali. May in turn be joined with. Well done, white stripes. That's the word, isn't it? Socio-economic. Yeah? Social and financial. May be associated with many other factors. Definitely Medved. Social. May be paired with, correlated with. Good words, Nora. Well done, Nora. A family's social status. So, may in turn be entangled with. Correlated is a great word. So, ice cream for white stripes with socio-economic. Whoops. Oh, well, economic. Bear with me a second, I'm messing up here totally. Socio-economic. Socioeconomic's really good. Enmeshed, that's a really good word. I like that word a lot, Dawit. And then there's a person's age and gender, which could influence their experience, the family, and be mixed. Yeah. Okay. And then there is a person's age and gender, which could influence their experience towards the family. Towards, maybe, within, good word, Philippe, their experience, Mileo, in and in other parts of their life, their experience in the family and in other parts of their life, and others and other things within the family and outside. That sounds very good, White Stripes. Their experience in the family, within and elsewhere for Alex, the family and relatives. Regarding the family is a good word, and society. It's a good keyword. Inside and inside the family and outside. Beyond. Well done, well done, Vitali. Within the family and beyond, says Julia. And society, professional life. In the family and outside, says Yusuf. Within and without. Without works very nicely. Their experience regarding the family and lifestyle. Within the family and beyond. So definitely ice cream for Vitali and Julia for beyond. Ice cream for Julia for within. And there were other people who started within. Within for Philippe. Philippe got that straight away. So definitely an ice cream for Philippe. Within and without for White Stripes as well. One ice cream, definitely. Within the family and beyond. I need to paste that here. Within the family and without, I quite like. So. Whoops. Bear with me. Whoops. Okay, so bear with me just a second, and we're back. Given this context, looking at this context, given this context, researchers have not been able to ascertain, good word, White Stripes, to conclude in this context, to assert. It would be to ascertain, Manu. Ascertain for Vitali. To conclude, says Julia, in this context. I like in a lot. So in for Oksana and in for Julia. Have not been able to prove, to ensure, not to ensure, regarding this context. Not quite don't strike. To prove that birth order. Yes, White Stripes. Regarding this context, to establish, says keyword. Establish for Vitali. To conclude or to ascertain, says Nora. Given this context, to infer. I like infer, Mehedrev. To establish, says Manu, to prove. Inside this context. to figure out. So in and determine for Yusuf good answers. To validate, order. To validate. That would work. To bound, to determine, to fortify. In this context, to construe. I love construe. To conclude. Within this context. Did anyone say within? Okay, so within this context, I'm not sure any. Within was Maurits. Within and conclude. That's 2 ice creams for Maurits directly. To conclude for Manu as well. Manu gets an ice cream. Well done, Maurits. Well done. Definitely an ice cream for that within this context. So let's see what we've got next. But it doesn't mean birth order is. Well done, Maurits, yeah. Confirm. But that doesn't mean birth order is. It could within certain families or cultures is inconsequential. I love the word Alex. Good word, Alex. Not essential. Not quite. No, Dawit, no. Is definitive. Yeah, definitive would work, Medred. It could be a factor. Yes. That's good, Oksana. It could be a factor, says Julia. It could vary a lot. Well done, Aurora. Is irrelevant. Serkan, lovely to see you, Serkan. Is definitive. Play a role. Well done, Vitali. Is irrelevant, immaterial, be a factor. I mean, it's peripheral or inconsequential. I like those your ideas, Nora. Immaterial and be a factor. Well done, White Stripes. Irrelevant. You don't play a factor, you play a role. Play a role, says Dawit. Is objective. No. Could play a role, says Manu. Could be relevant. Is irrelevant. So, is irrelevant. Play a role. It's play a role. Well done. That was the right moment to choose it, Alex. So, ice creams for irrelevant and play a role. Order is irrelevant. Okay, I think this is the last one I'm going to do because I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. So I think people have a lot of beliefs. It sounded best, yes. And that's part of this. Knowing what sounds best. And that's the hardest thing in English. What sounds best? How the hell do you know? Because some things sound better than other. You definitely deserve an ice cream, Serkan, as well. I think people have a lot of beliefs that are kind of iffy. In the first place, says Vitali. First place for Oksana. In the first place, says Dawit. Questionable. That's a really good word, Maurice. In the first place, says Julia. So definitely an ice cream for Serkan. It's good to have you with us, Serkan, by the way. In the first place, says Alex. Iffy's a funny word. It's a bit too informal for this. White Stripes. Obsolete's a good word, though. Are kind of skeptical. Not quite minor. Untenable's a good word. Unsubstantiated I like. Superseded is a good word. That are superseded. I would probably say that have been superseded. Okay. Kind of stereotypes. Unscientific. Kind of outdated in baseless. Outdated in the first place. uncertain. So ice creams for those of you in the first place, very definitely. But outdated. That was probably difficult to get. And that's it. You see, that 37 says I've asked you 37 questions. Wow, Serkan, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. That really is. You're always so kind, Serkan. Thank you, thank you. What can I say? So, let's see. I need to say next stream will be on Tuesday, the 24th of June at 10 a.m. UK time. Thank you, Serkan. That is just so kind of you. Thank you for coming, Vitali. It's been great having you. The 24th, yeah, that's the right date. So let me put this here. Deciduous. It's great having you all. Thank you all for coming. A wonderful group. Thank you, Oksana. Thank you, Manu. Thank you, Manisko. Thank you, Serkan. Thank you, Medred. It's good to have you. Clearly, you're able to do well within this group. Thank you, Nora. It's lovely to see you here as well. Welcome, Aurora. Good to have you. Thank you, Manu. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Alex L. This was a challenging exercise. It started easily. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, Aurora. Thank you, Dawit. Thank you, Don't Trust. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Keyword. Thank you, Manisko. Thank you, Manu. Thank you, Maurits. Thank you, Medreth. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Oksana. Thank you, Serkan. Special thank you to Serkan. Thank you to Yusuf. Thank you to Vitali. And thank you to White Stripes. And I hope to see you all on Tuesday. The summertime is here. Thank you, Typhor. Thank you, Yusuf. It's good to have you, Yusuf. Have a good weekend. It's really kind of you, Serkan. Happy weekend to all of you. Have a good one. So well done, all of you. Thank you so much. So take care, and I hope to see you all on Tuesday. So.